The Running Man continues the trend of Hollywood remakes. Does this one continue to falter as many of the recent ones have, or does it succeed? Let's find out. Que lo que a mi gente del Caribe. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate all of your support as always. Today we're going to be talking about The Running Man. This is the latest film directed by Edgar Wright, who previously made films such as Baby Driver and The Last Night in Soho. This stars Glen Powell, Josh Brolin, and Colman Domingo. This is taking place far into the future, and it follows Ben Richards, who is a hardworking husband trying to make ends meet and make enough money for medicine to treat his sick child when he joins the nation's top-rated show on television, where he must survive being hunted for 30 days to win a life-changing sum of money. I was looking forward to seeing this movie. I really like Glen Powell. I think he's a great actor. He has a lot of charisma. He's a strong leading man right now in Hollywood. And so I've been enjoying seeing him in all of these different feature films. And I was curious to see how this movie was going to be, because he hasn't necessarily been a leading action role yet. And so I wanted to see how he would tackle this. And I think that he did a really good job. Glen Powell continues his streak of charisma, and of just solid performances, likable performances with these characters that are really enjoyable and fun to watch on screen. And he's doing a great job diversifying his filmography right now with rom-coms like Anyone But You and other action movies, but he's not really doing any action, such as in Top Gun Maverick, and then he has this. And so it's cool to see where he, I guess, first, not necessarily began, but where we first saw him in The Dark Knight Rises in a very, very small role. And so it's cool to see that progression of his career, and he does a great job here. I found him to be believable and enjoyable, and I really liked him as the lead character for this film. I like the mix of this film. The atmosphere kind of feels like The Hunger Games meets Die Hard in some very simplistic ways, and it's really enjoyable. The story is very simple, and it's very fun and engaging. It's a very self-aware film in the fact that the premise is so simplistic, but it really leans into that, and it's very successful. Josh Brolin is also seeming to have a lot of fun as this villainous television executive, and he's really going for it, and I really enjoyed his performance. He is great in this movie, especially alongside Colman Domingo, who is just a blast. He is just this eccentric TV personality, and you could tell he's really embracing the absurdity of this role, kind of this universe, and he's leaning fully into it, and I loved it. He might have been probably my favorite performance in the film. So Colman Domingo, he continues his run of delivering fantastic performances. Even if a movie he's in doesn't meet amazing standards, he's always giving that 100%. The action is really decent. There isn't as much of it as I thought there was going to be. It's more so just him running away, trying to survive, which is still exciting and entertaining. The humor is also pretty solid. It's never laugh out loud funny. It doesn't impede on the overall tone of the film or anything of the sort, but it's very subtle and it's very consistent. You'll have a few chuckles throughout, and it doesn't try to go for anything more than that. It just is trying to keep the atmosphere light, even when the story might feel just a little bit heavier. In terms of issues, though, the plot of this film does feel very incomplete, and that is surprising given the 2-hour 15-minute runtime. You would have thought they would have been able to encapsulate more of the story from the original book into the film with that runtime, but it does feel very incomplete. It feels like in the beginning it drags its feet a little bit. It focuses more on irrelevant plot details and not enough on the more important details, like the side characters. There's a lot of supporting characters that are represented to have a lot of importance and an immense meaningfulness to the story, but they're not given nearly enough screen time. They kind of disappear right away. You only see them for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then their character is gone. So it's very useless in that sense, and it causes the film to drag in some ways because it's not taking enough time to focus on the important elements of the story. Particularly some characters that I would have really appreciated seeing more of is William H. Macy, Michael Cera, and Katie M. O'Brien. I think that those are each excellent actors and their talent is underutilized in this film, especially given that their characters felt as if they were supposed to be a lot more weighty and a lot more intentionality within the story. And so that was disappointing to see how they got sidelined very quickly and unreasonably. A lot of the film also feels very convenient. There's not a natural flow to it. It just kind of is going, and things happen that very unnaturally lead Glen Powell's character to the next step of the film. And a lot of the elements feel shoehorned into the film. So it just doesn't feel as effective as some of Edgar Wright's previous films that he's made. Emilia Jones from Coda is also in here, and she was fantastic, but once again, she feels shoehorned in and she feels underutilized within the story. Each of these side characters, it really does feel like they're supposed to have a lot more importance, and it feels as if within the script they were written to have a lot more meaning, but the overall execution, maybe a lot of scenes got cut out that shouldn't have been cut out, so there might be some issues with the editing. So that was disappointing because I wanted to see more of these characters that seemed like they would have been likable, but due to the execution, they feel very thin. Overall, though, this movie is a solid guilty pleasure. It's a lot of fun. It's more of a popcorn action film. You kind of turn your brain off, you enjoy it, you have fun with it, you accept it for what it is, and it accepts itself for what it is, because as I mentioned, it is a very self-aware film that knows what it is, it knows what it's going for, and it does deliver at the end of the day. So I enjoyed this movie for the most part. I would watch it again, and Glen Powell, he's a really strong leading character, leading actor for this film, and so I would recommend it for that reason alone. Therefore, I'm going to give The Running Man a 3 out of 5 stars. It's enjoyable, just don't expect it to be as top tier quality as some of Edgar Wright's other films that he's directed, but it is still a fun time and worth seeing in the movie theater. So I hope that you guys go check it out and support the movie theater experience, support your local cinemas, because we need to keep the theatrical experience alive and well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your support as always. God bless you all, and stay tuned for some more reviews coming real soon. Take care.